Good evening, you're listening to the 7 o'clock hour of Metropolitan Community Radio. I'm your host, Brandon Salem.
And I am Mariah Meadows. Unfortunately, I have disturbing news. This morning at 7:55, there was an attack on Pearl Harbor. The first attack this morning was at 6 in the morning. It included 49 bombers, 40 torpedoes, and 51 dive bombers, along with 43 fighters. The second attack on Pearl Harbor this morning included 54 bombers, 78 dive bombers, and 36 fighters. They found 70 ships, including 8 battleships. These battleships were sunk, 1 capsized, and all the others were damaged. Of 231 Army aircraft, only 166 remained intact, while only 54 Navy and Marine planes out of some 250 were operable. This attack was intended to cripple the U.S. Navy. This is a reel from our source on the ground retrieved earlier this morning.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
This just in, all the way from Mount Rushmore, we have our news anchor in the field, Allie Maxwell.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I'm standing here today in front of the famous Mount Rushmore, located in the state of South Dakota in the Black Hills National Parks, where sculptor Berglund made 4 famous presidents' heads on the side of a mountain. The sculpture was supposed to be from the waist up, but due to funding, it caused the project to stop when the faces were done. 450,000 tons of rock was removed in this process, and the heads are 60 feet. The faces include George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, and Thomas Jefferson. He began this project back in 1927. Less than 20 years later, he is finally done.
And now a word from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
Walks the stair without a care and shoots so high in the sky. Jumps up and down just like a cloud. Everyone knows it's Slinky. The best present yet to give or get. The kids will all want to try. The hit of the day when you're ready to play. Everyone knows it's Slinky. It's Slinky. It's Slinky. For finding the best of the toys. It's Slinky. It's Slinky. The favorite of girls and boys.
Say, kids, have you tried the newest sensation? Slinky! Yes, Slinky, the spring that can climb downstairs on its own. Be the first kid on the block to get a Slinky. Amaze and dazzle your friends. It's perfect for both boys and girls. Pick one up at your nearest toy store today. Ask for it by name. Slinky!
A Slinky toy will run and play all day. A Slinky toy, my favorite toy, you'll say. There is a Slinky toy for every girl and boy.
Good evening, you're listening to the 7 o'clock hour of Metropolitan Community Radio. I'm your host, Brandon Salem.
And I am Mariah Meadows. And now to hope at our local post office.
Thank you, Mariah. I'm here at the post office where they are receiving and sorting through hundreds of letters coming in for Santa Claus. For the past few years, the Letters to Santa Claus trend has started grabbing hold and is bringing communities closer together. Though it officially began in 1912 by Postmaster General Frank Hitchcock, who authorized local postmasters to allow postal employees and citizens to respond to the letters. The program is taking hold and is now being known as Operation Santa. The mail volume has increased so much that the Postal Service is inviting any and all charitable organizations and corporations to participate by providing written responses to the letters and to donate small gifts to the children who wrote those letters. These are just some of the letters that they've received in the past few hours. Dear Santa, I know that I have a dolly that used to be my sister's, but I wish for my own, one that has 2 eyes and doesn't have any rips and tears. Another one reads from a little boy, Dear Santa, I want a brand new bike, one that is shiny and red and has a little bell on it. One of the most heartwarming ones that I've read so far reads this, Dear Santa, all I wish for Christmas isn't much, but for my daddy to come home safely. He is currently overseas fighting, and I hope that he is okay. And the letters just keep coming in. Here's a little girl now who's with her mother dropping off a letter. Ma'am, do you mind if I ask your daughter a few questions? Hello there, little girl. What's your name?
Ava.
And is that a letter to Santa Claus?
Yes, it's a letter for Santa Claus.
What did you ask him for?
I asked him for a dolly and a new coloring book.
Well, were you a good girl this year?
Yes, I was a good girl this year.
Well, that's good. Then I bet you get everything you desire on that little list of yours. I'm Hope, signing off from our local Metropolitan Post Office. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Hope. And now for some other news. On this 7th day of May, the American people celebrate as the Nazi Germany threat is eliminated by the United States and allied nations. Germany authorities agreed to unconditionally surrender as remaining forces defending the Nazi Party's capital in Berlin are overwhelmed and their leader, Adolf Hitler, is put down. The United States assumes total control to secure and maintain peace in the now crippled nation of Germany. The American war machine turns its focus on the final Axis target responsible for attacks on our friends and families and the cowardly massacre in Pearl Harbor, a day they will regret as the United States removes Japanese forces from the world. And now we have an official reel from the United States government.
I wish that Franklin D. Roosevelt had lived to see this day. General Eisenhower informs me that the forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations. The flags of freedom fly all over Europe. For this victory, we join in offering our thanks to the Providence which has guided and sustained us through the dark days of adversity and into light. Much remains to be done. The victory won in the West must now be won in the East. The whole world must be cleansed of the evil from which half the world has been free. United, the peace-loving nations have demonstrated in the West that their arms are stronger by far than the might of dictators or the tyranny of military cliques that once called us soft and weak. The power of our peoples to defend themselves against all enemies will be proved in the Pacific War as it was proved in Europe.
Breaking news all the way from New York City. We have Alexandria going over the Republic of China.
It's Alexandria Airy here, and I'm here on the island of Japan, where we've learned that on October 1st, 1949, the People's Republic of China was formed as a communist state. Mao Zedong was named the leader of the Communist Party and is now the leader of China. Mao has even been quoted as describing the new government as the People's Democratic Dictatorship. Today, October 2nd, 1949, the Soviet Union has thrown their support behind the People's Republic of China, and America is left to wonder just how far this Iron Curtain will spread.
Welcome to your Sports and Entertainment Corner. My name is Alex. I must start by announcing that the Summer and Winter Olympics of the 1940s are canceled due to World War II. And now, the man we must talk about today was just featured in this September's issue of Time magazine. You're right, Jackie Robinson is the man of this month. He is tearing a hole right through the color barrier that has been keeping great players apart for years. Back in 1945, he played for the Kansas City Monarchs, and now for the 1947 season, he is a proud member of the Brooklyn Dodgers. This man is busting at the seams with talent, and I would not be surprised if a few years from now he wins the National League's Most Valuable Player award. And now that it's 1948, Walter Frederick Morrison and his partner just produced the first plastic frisbee. Magazines refer to it as the flying saucers and outer space craze that has become marketable. And now to Kim for some entertainment.
In today's entertainment, the film Gone with the Wind wins 7 Academy Awards. These include Best Actress, Actress in a Supporting Role, Directing, and Film Editing. Also, some other films appearing in theaters are A Wild Hare, starring Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd, Casablanca, and Miracle on 34th Street. For all you kids out there, Superman the Radio Show will also be making its debut. As for all you music lovers, Frank Sinatra, I'll Never Smile Again, is still at the top of the charts. This will make it its 12th week. And if you're not doing it already, then get on out there and do the jitterbug.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Pepsi Cola, it's the spot. 12 full ounces, that's a lot. Twice as much for a nickel too. Pepsi Cola is the drink for you. Nickel, 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 nickel. Pepsi Cola hits the spot. 12 full ounces, that's a lot. Twice as much for a nickel too. Pepsi Cola is the drink for you.
Thanks, Alex and Kim.
And now to Marianne about the GI Bill, and I think she actually has an interview for us.
This is Marianne here, and I know I'm not the only American out there that has been wondering what would happen to our returning soldiers, and now we no longer need to wonder. With the creation of the GI Bill, also known as the Servicemen's Readjustment Act, U.S. legislation enacted on June 22, 1944, authorizing economic and educational assistance for our veterans of World War II. The law provides low-interest, federally guaranteed mortgages for the purchases of new homes, farms, and businesses. It allows substantial unemployment benefits for up to 1 year. The bill also provides assistance to returning vets in finding jobs, educational, and vocational subsidies for up to 4 years of college, allowing up to $500 a year for tuition and books, and $50 a month as a stipend. It also authorizes aid for veterans, hospitals, and vocational rehabilitation. I personally think this is a great thing for our returning soldiers. Now I'm here to interview one of the wives of the returning soldiers.
Hi, my name's Suzanne Hartman, and when my husband Billy returned from World War II, we just didn't know what he was going to do. And now with the creation of the GI Bill, we're just so excited.
So do you think he's going to go back to school, or are you planning on buying a home? What's your plans with this bill?
Oh, we're definitely going to buy a home and have a bundle of kids.
Is he going to go ahead and use this to go back to school, you think?
I think so. I think he's going to become an electrician now.
So you think this is a good idea that the government has done this?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne, and thanks for joining me, Mariah.
I'm glad we have such a good audience.
Thanks for listening to Metropolitan Community Radio. Stay classy, Kansas City. We'll talk tomorrow.